So let me wish you a good afternoon to all of you who survived the lunch. You have survived almost 3 days of the conference. Lila and I, we joined you just recently here, and I see this is really a wonderful venue. It's a pity that some colleagues had to leave already because of the flight schedule, but that's what it is. We are here today with you in order to share some of our experiences we have gained over the last couple of years. This is primarily somehow relating digital society part, and we would love to explain a little bit what we have done in the areas of IP transformation between 2011 and now, and also what we have done in regards with broadband infrastructure development. So here we put a couple of slides together. This is not much of content, it's more kind of illustrative, and this will help us go through the discussion. We appreciate any questions later on during the discussion, in case there will be some questions of particular interest. Only a couple of words about our point of departure, a few words about our own vision of this digital society paradigm, then how IP transformation went so far, in our companies particularly. Also, we want to share the outcome of this transformation process, because there were many discussions in the beginning about rationale, why we do that, why we want to migrate, what's wrong with the PSTN network, because this is in place for many years, it works perfectly well. Then also we want to shortly reflect on lessons learned, and in particular quality impact, because there were some concerns in the beginning, like when we do this type of migration, what will happen with the service quality? Are we able to keep the quality stable? Are we able to even improve the quality? And in the end also we want to share with you a couple of examples of the new products and new services enabled in a combination of modern broadband infrastructure and IP technologies. So, in the very beginning, as I mentioned already, big discussions. This is especially relevant for incumbent operators. I believe that Nenad and Nikola will all probably have different stories, because traditionally we were present with legacy technologies, and it became a burden for us, because operating TDM type of platforms, TDM world, in combination and in parallel with IP technologies became very, very difficult, expensive and highly complex. That's why many years ago we have somehow concluded ourselves that we need a change, we need a major transformation, we need a change, we need to move forward. So this was actually our point of departure. These were some of the original considerations at the time. This kind of picture is still valid today. We clearly realize that broadband challenge is there. This is knocking on the door. Traffic and the usage, this is going exponentially up. There were of course some problems and challenges for all the operators in terms of top line results, revenues. Revenues actually did not follow the cost, did not follow the usage pattern. And this was the moment when we realized that we need to do something fundamentally different. Discussion about solution resulted with two main initiatives. This is what you can see on the right-hand side here. Two main initiatives. One was running around transformation towards all IP multi-service platform, which simply means that we ultimately want to have only all IP enabled technologies and multi-service type of platform, not being in a position to operate and to manage multiple vertically integrated homogeneous architectures. So this was one element of the solution we did anticipate. As of today we can say, yes, this is working well, there are some early results visible. Second element of the solution from our perspective was really focused development of the broadband infrastructure, what was addressed during the conference here. And these two things should help us improve customer experience, quality of service, should help us all bring new innovations, new services, new products into the market. But at the same time, we can imagine that we are doing this job efficiently. Now, back to this paradigm of digital society, all connected, Internet of Things later on, expectations of the customers, new type of services, new types of products, multimedia, and so on and so forth. So definitely it's clear that we need to enable broadband for every household. I don't know if you all know here that Macedonia is actually the first country who managed to become all IP kind of country, which means that we have managed successfully over the last couple of years to fully migrate PSTN and TDM access technologies. So today, each and every household using Telekom services in Macedonia is literally IP connected, which means that each and every household can activate internet access tomorrow if it is not already in place. So this is one of our beliefs. Broadband should be available to all households. Then we wanted also to talk about advanced type of process framework, how we can do more things remotely, how we can simplify the whole process philosophy. So zero-touch provisioning is also one famous buzzword, maybe, but we can demonstrate it works today. We can demonstrate this is part of our reality already now. Multi-access, of course, seamless connectivity. Also in your language, as a regulatory authority, we rather discuss about network neutrality or technology neutrality. This is essentially our interpretation of that paradigm. New services, HD voice maybe being one example, LTE-based voice, another example, many others to come. Convergence of services or service convergence overall, which again requires unique and high-performance IP connectivity. And in the end, we are moving all together towards Internet of Things or Internet of Everything. Web 3.0 paradigm is already being under implementation. So this is like a simple picture of our vision. And then bottom line here is to make it all possible, we need really solid broadband infrastructure, and we need to enable IP type of service platforms. So this is the beginning. Then we'll tell you a little more about what has happened in practical terms, somewhere between 2011 and 2013, right?
And before.
It was not always easy. It was and even before that, yeah. I was in a different country at the time, and a lot of things happened here, but some really great results. And in the end, you will see also why we did all of that, and why this is important for us, and what it makes possible now, which was not possible maybe 3 years ago.
Good afternoon from my side. It's a very big pleasure for me to be here today with you and to share some of information regarding our IP transformation project, how and when we start, what are actually the results of what we achieved, what are the lessons learned that we have during this whole period, and what at the end are benefits of all this process. So in general, we started very early, somewhere maybe in 2008, with definition of the voice strategy. And the main driver of this section was actually end of lifetime of existing PSTN switches, limited possibilities for introduction of new functionalities, complex interoperability with IP systems. So in general, those are the main drivers which leads to prepare this kind of document that we call voice strategy. This is very complex document which covers very, very different and difficult topics, starting from analysis of the services that customers are using, starting from the distribution of the customers, starting from the analysis of the broadband access per each site, and then we end to come up with the conclusion how actually the migration could be done and in which period it could be done. So the final conclusion of this analysis is that we will go with a strategy to migrate all our customers to IP multimedia subsystem using actually broadband access. It means that we decided to use broadband access because we find that the value for the customers is not only in fixed voice, and the value for the customers will be in bundled services, And due to this, even the customers who are purely voice customers, in the future, they will use other services as well. So even though the process of migration with broadband access is rather more difficult and even more expensive, we decided to go in this direction. And we actually performed this whole process using this strategy. Implementation started in 2011, and the whole process was finalized at the beginning of 2014, actually more exactly 15th of January. So in the period of more than 2.5 years, we actually performed the whole process of migration. With this, as Bozidar mentioned, we became the first country within Deutsche Telekom Group which finalized this process of IP transformation. Within our group, also Slovak Telekom, during last year they finalized the migration process. Croatian Telekom followed this, also Hungarian, Magyar Telekom, and Montenegro as well. So also the other participants in the group are currently in this process of migration. The process is finalized in 2014 at the beginning, and after that we actually have possibilities to start and to implement new products as a benefits of all this process. So what are actually the main achievements, tangible achievements that we reached during the process? We actually migrated in general to about 300,000 customers. During this process, we prepared more than 1,000 different special solutions for special business customers, because they have different type of services. And for each customer, it was necessary to prepare a specific solution. We visited together with our colleagues from business areas more than 800 business customers to identify what is needed and how the migration it will be done. And the other maybe interesting information is that with dismantling of the whole switches, we actually dismantled more than 200 tons of equipment. With this migration, we actually switch off 22 primary exchanges and more than 300 remote units that we have within the whole country. So it's rather difficult process. But I'm really proud to say that we managed to finish it within the planned timeline. During this process, we have a lot of learnings from different aspects. On these slides, only some of these learnings are presented, but I can say that we have learning starting from the organizational point of view, from the process point of view. Even we learn how we learn. So, for example, it is very important for successful finalization of this kind of complex projects that project team should be very carefully established, and in this case, project organization should cover all areas in the company. Even though at the beginning it is the project that is initiated from technical area and it is maybe considered as a technical migration, it is not quite completely true, because within this process all other areas in the company were involved, and successful finalization of the project depends on joint cooperation. Here is cooperation exactly from all aspects, from business aspects, from IT for migration of the current application, from regulatory aspects, from finance, actually from all areas. And only when we understand that this is important, then actually the project can successfully and is successfully finished. During this process, full management attention was needed. Even in certain cases, our CEO was involved in discussion with certain business customers in order to identify the way how the migration will be done due to the complexity of the process itself. Even for the learning, we were surprised how our people learn during the process. Even though we prepare a lot of guidelines and a lot of presentation in front of our technicians, we understand that our people learn more when they are on site. And maybe it creates different problems and additional faults during this whole process. But in general, during this process, they learn about the technology, they learn about the process itself, and it is also one of the benefits that we have from this process. Regarding the technical learnings, there are really a lot of technical learnings and technical challenges, starting from different type of solution, especially migration of the oldest type of exchanges, even though even in the network we have old R2 signaling exchanges. Some of the customers still use this type of equipment, then the interconnection is really difficult to be done with the IP-based systems. Different difficulties with the connection of payphones, for example, or difficulties what we have with fax services. But all of these are really technical learnings, and these are very, very valuable for us as well. So this is just some part of what we learned during the process. And at the end, I would like to stress a little bit the quality parameters that we permanently measure during the process itself and after that. And as it is shown on the slide, it can be seen at the beginning that fault ratio for VoIP is rather higher than the traditional PSTN. But at the end of the migration process, actually, we came up with the same level of fault ratio as PSTN, even better. And what I would like to stress, if you can notice on the first let's say, part of the slide, that even there is maybe threat that these parameters in terms of PSTN can be even worse than taking into consideration that the equipment is old and taking into consideration the risk of faulty operation of these systems. The other parameters also show mean time between failure as well. So with actually VoIP, we managed to reach and even to increase the mean time between failure. And also there is a part that shows the fault ratio between different technology, DSL and fiber. And here it is clearly shown that actually the performance on fiber is higher than in case of DSL technology. IP transformation is only one part of the story. And the second part, which contributes to our further development and to come closer to our vision, is broadband access. Related to broadband access, Bozidar will say what is our position and how we see this development.
So this is essentially our basic access infrastructure here. So we need to further develop this infrastructure in terms of coverage, in terms of bit rate performance, in terms of stability and overall availability. Essentially, Robert mentioned before lunchtime that all households should be fiber connected, which is a really good idea. We did also some kind of economical analysis internally, and then we realized, of course, that the real truth will be probably somewhere in between, which means that we need to apply some economic rationale to our development plans. And essentially in our company, we were trying to understand basically two sets of requirements. One set of requirements was about business requirements, market demand, new technologies, speed requirements, data, traffic volume growth, this kind of stuff, introduction of new products, new services, innovation. So this is like business part of the story. We had also many good discussions with the regulatory agency here, and we were addressing digital agenda requirements, which is common agenda for all of us in Europe. Here primarily we are focusing on coverage requirements in terms of percentage of households to be connected with a certain bitrate speed, using any type of technology. And then question comes back to us, which technologies we want to use, which technologies to deploy to comply with both sets of requirements. So our strategic perspective is rather simple in these generic terms. In reality, this is of course much more complex. However, in a nutshell, we see that in a mid to long term, there will be coexistence of three main technologies. One is definitely mobile technology, primarily LTE, of course in combination with other mobile technologies for some period of time. With this one, we want to achieve kind of maximum coverage of the territory and coverage of the population in the Republic of Macedonia. So in the end, almost everybody should be able to use mobile type of connectivity. This is the biggest circle here in the middle. Then when it comes to wireline strategy is also twofold. We need to proceed with further development and rollout of fiber technologies. There is already quite decent number of households connected via fiber. Even bigger number of households in Macedonia being ready for fiber type of service provisioning. And we of course do more. We do more. Especially we are focusing on urban areas, of course. But we see coexistence of fiber and advanced DSL technologies in a mid to long run due to economical reasons, but there are other aspects as well. So this is how we see broadband infrastructure will develop in this country, probably very similar situation we have in other countries as well. So this is the way how we want to balance, how we want to optimize our investment cost. Robbie was right when saying that we should also partner more. We should talk to each other. We should try and see how we can combine our investment efforts so that we minimize the overall capital expenditures. In the end, we accomplish a final result altogether and enable more advanced services for the end users. So this is like a qualitative picture. The message here is we have done a lot already. And this is really fundamental enabler for everything we want to do in the future. We take care of digital agenda requirements at the same time in parallel as we take care of our business requirements and of reality in Macedonia today and in years to come. So that's what we believe is the right approach. And in this context, we believe we can take the country one step forward. We can be really much closer to enabling this digital society paradigm mentioned in the beginning. And now we come to a very interesting point where we put these two elements together. When we put solid access performance, broadband access performance with IP enablers, then we come to the point for the first time where we are able to offer services and products which are not really feasible or which are not that mature as it is now in 2014. Lila, maybe you give us now 3 examples, and this will be more or less it from us for today.
I will shortly give you 3 examples from the services that are actually available, as Bozidar mentioned, as a result of synergy of this IP transformation and broadband access. The first one is broadband on demand or internet on demand. It allows customers who are only voice customers with only, let's say, few clicks immediately to have internet installed. So it means that there is no additional intervention on site to submit home gateway or CP devices or additional extras internally. Just customers can by themselves with a few clicks get internet. These are different packages that we are offering, but in general the main benefit is that customer, based on its expectation and based on its needs, can activate this service on demand. The second one, which we actually introduced during this year, is Max TV on demand, which will also allows our customers who already have these devices at home to activate this system, this service remotely according to their needs. It could be both attractive service, as it is mentioned on the slide, for the customers who have bigger houses and who have, let's say, needs to activate the service temporarily. The last one, what we would like to point out is that the loop service. Loop actually is important in terms that it is connected with the access and the possibility of different type of access devices. So loop is actually the service which is related to storage of the video content of different text files on the cloud solution, and customers can possibility to use the service from different type of devices and to share the content. It is really interesting product, and it's the first time we actually are able to establish such kind of product that fully represent fixed and mobile convergence in terms of services. So these are only 3 examples, and only 3 examples for the possibilities that we have with the infrastructure that we built, and we plan to continue to build in the direction of further improvement broadband performance and broadband coverage. And these are only 3 examples in a way to reach our vision, which is already presented by our CTO, actually enhanced services to the customers, internet everywhere, with actually self-provisioning. In that line, we are not only developing the broadband infrastructure, but we are developing also our internal systems, our internal BSS and OSS systems that should support this vision for self-provisioning of the services to the customers. So with this, we will end up with the presentation. Thank you very much. We are here on disposal for any questions.
Thank you. I always take this opportunity to thank our colleagues from the regulatory agency, because the world was not rosy for us over the last 3 to 4 years. We were doing this migration process. There were also many complaints from the customers, but thanks to really high understanding and support from your side, we were able to complete this process to successful end. So this is really big accomplishment. This is a relatively small country, but this is the only country in Europe as of today having all households literally IP connected, having households able to activate internet access for themselves in a matter of minutes. That's the big difference. Thank you so much for your attention.